Hey guys, and welcome to a new Part of Exile video. Today we're gonna talk about how you can get sulfite for delving. Well, first of all, I know I don't have any other guides for the delve itself. We're gonna make them later, but I wanted to talk first about how to even get sulfite because there are a lot of people that are actually already delving and maybe they don't know like some stuff, how you can optimize it, and yeah. Well, I'm gonna showcase you first a map with my Lamborghini character. Like, he's really speedy. We also gonna talk about him in this video since this character is only there to pick up sulfate. As you can see, we just run to the sulfite nodes. We pick them up, we got 4k over there. And we search the third one, and that's it. And we go out. So that's how we pick up sulfite. With this method, I'm able to like fill my storage from 0 to 65k, which is the maximum, in roughly around 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. And yeah, I mean, it is good because it is fast, so it saves you time. The more or less time you spend to get your sulfite, the more time you can spend in delving and making actually profit. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the atlas itself, and I want to show you in which area you want to farm your sulfite and also why. And the area we want to farm it is in Lex Proxima. The reason for this is really simple. If we open the Lex Proxima passive tree, we can see here we have Nico missions. There's another region that also has Nico missions, but this one is the best. And this is simply because of this node. And it says voltaxic sulfide veins and chests in areas have a 10% chance to contain double sulfide. So basically every 10 sulfide node you grab is a double amount of sulfide. That means if a sulfide veins normally gives you 3k, it gives you 6k. So it is overall pretty good. On top of that, well, we can take this node. If we kill a boss, we get an additional sulfide. So if you still have a normal character and you want to do that, it is also not that bad to farm currency since you can do the maps, spawn Cyrus maybe as well. You can get some extra currency during the maps, right? So you can sustain it if you're low on currency. At a certain point, especially if you want to go deep delve, it is not worth it anymore. But for the start, it's really good. So if you have a normal character, take this as well. I still have it skilled because I was doing the same. Nowadays, as you saw, I don't kill bosses anymore, so this node is useless for me. And then we have the third node, and this is not giving you more sulfide, but it gives you increased movement speed. While also for your normal characters, it also gives you damage if you pick up a sulfide vein node. So it is a little boost and makes the stuff just even faster. And that's the area that we want to do. Sorry. And on top of that, we want to have watchstones as well, because on the watchstones we can roll the same stuff as well. Voltaxic sulfide veins and chests in areas have a 5% chance to contain double sulfide. So this is adjective, so that means 5% plus 10% over here is 15 plus 5 again, plus 5 again, plus 5 again. So we are at 30%. And this is not even tier 1 roll, but tier 1 roll once was like 3x each. And I rolled this myself for roughly around 50 chaos orbs each. So it was a lot cheaper. I'm thinking about upgrading to a tier 1 at a certain point, but it's like only 4% more. It is worth it in the long term, but I don't know. If I'm not too lazy, I'm gonna do it. And of course, if you want to min-max, you want to do that as well. So that's what area you have to run. Also in this area, in terms of like taking any maps, we want to go for tier 16 maps. The reason for that is really simple. You get more sulfide in a tier 16 map than in a tier 15 map. So it just gives us more sulfide. And there are only 4 tier 16 maps in this region. One of them is Ashenwood, one of them is Corvus, one of them is Shore, and one of them is the Val Temple. Well, To talk about Val Temple first, the layout is horrible if you just want to pick up Sulphite. I will never do it myself. I mean, you can if you have maps, but I will not recommend this. The best maps here are Ashenwood, Calves and Shore. I always buy them in bulk, so the price is normally nearly the same. Like, it doesn't really matter if I buy 20 Calves maps or 20 Shore maps, I pay the same amount of currency. If you don't buy them in bulk, I guess with Shore and with Ashenwoods, you come a bit cheaper along, so you don't need to pay that much as for cost maps. But at the end of the day, I personally find cost map the best because it's just, especially also for the build that I'm running, the fastest map. Like, I just need like 2 or 3 seconds less or so in this map, which sounds not a lot, but you know, over the time it stacks up. Um, but yeah, so if you want to run the best map, then just go on cost map. But Shore and Ashenwoods are not really bad as well, so they are also really insanely good. So you can also run them. And yeah, well, I actually also made the favorite system only for the cost map, basically. And I just have in this region 4 waterstones. This is basically because in Delph itself we also sustain maps. And the Delph is also looking at our atlas. So that means if we have only 2 waterstones in here, we never drop a tier 16 or tier 13 map, tier 14 to tier 16 map from this region, because it's just not possible. So we can only drop these maps, so the chance is really higher that we get the maps that we want. And so on. We also sustain like a small amount of maps by ourselves without buying them, which means basically that we save currency and we don't have to sell other maps that we don't want. Okay, so this was the atlas and the maps. Now let's talk real quick about what is also upgrading our maps and how to roll the maps. I guess we're gonna first on how to roll the maps. Normally the stash tab is more full, but we delved a lot yesterday and are gonna prepare soon some maps again. So basically what we can do is, let's search shore maps here. So we have here shore maps. As you see, this one is already rolled. I don't really know why this is in this tab. For my build, we don't have to look about any mods, so we can just shizzle them, alk them, and I normally try to get them above 80% quantity, because more quantity means more sulfite in the map. And then on top of that, we val it. If you run a normal build, I will still do the same thing. If you have a map that you cannot run, you can save it up for later if you plan to do this character, or you just sell it to another player. Maybe you lose like 1 or 2 chaos orbs, but not a lot. And the majority of maps that are going to be better and gives you more sulfite is saving a lot more currency than you actually lose if you can sometimes not run a map. So you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, that's how we roll the maps. And then on top of that, because we said it already, quantity also gives us more sulfite. We can add sacrifices, because the sacrifices are increasing the map quantity. The reason why I say map quantity is really simple, because only the map quantity counts for it. That means if you have an MF character that has quantity on his gear, that doesn't matter. That's not increasing the sulfite you gain. It is just the map quantity, so that means chisels, the map itself, and sacrifices or fragments from other bosses, but I will always go only with sacrifices. We also buy them in bulk. They are really cheap this league. A reason for that is a lot of people farm Delirium. A lot of people farm the new league mechanic, Expedition. There are like some areas where they also get a lot of sacrifices. So we are always good on that. And then on top of that, we use sulfite scarabs. At the moment, I'm using rusted sulfite scarabs. This is mainly because I wanted to just like test a little bit around to give you guys more accurate numbers on how many maps we need per scarab. And well, for me it is like I need 6 to 7 maps with rusted sulfite scarabs to fill up a storage. I need normally 5 maps with polished scarabs and 3 to 4 with gilded scarabs. That's like my average numbers on maps that I need. So at the end, I came out with that it is basically, oh, sorry, a 5.8x trade. Sorry, guys, I need the currency. Well, this is a good example. You can make money in Delph, so don't worry. Let me just check real quick. I'm sorry, guys. You know, currency is important, right? We all need it. But yeah, where was I stopping here? About the scarabs, yeah. So we can basically say that you roughly pay the same amount of currency to fill up one storage. Doesn't matter what scarabs. So at the end, gilded scarabs is basically the best because you just invest also less time to fill it up because you need less maps. But yeah, I mean, that's up to you. It also depends on how deep you are. And yeah, I would always go with gilded scarabs, but I finished the testing a little bit and I have like some more rusted sulfite scarabs, so I'm gonna use them until I'm done with it. And then I'm gonna go back to polished or gilded again. And yeah, that's about how to roll the maps. So we discovered which area we want to do. We discovered which maps we want to do. Let's now talk about the build, which I think personally is the most interesting part for the most of you. And well, let's start right off. And so first of all, the skill tree is a bit tricky, or it is actually really simple. All we rush for is movement speed nodes, as we can see here. We got here the movement speed, we got where's movement speed? Here movement speed. We try to get all the movement speeds. And then we also want to go to the dex areas. The reason for this is temperate spirituals, because they give us 2% increased movement speed per 10 dexterity on allocated passives in radius. So we want to rush a lot of areas where there is dexterity nodes to even get more movement speed. As you see, we really want movement speed. Then we have one cluster jewel in the skill tree, which basically gives us this node, Alchemist Genius, and Alchemist Genius increase flask charge gained. That doesn't really matter for us. And the effect of flasks by 10%. This matters to us because better flask means also again more movement speed. And gear-wise, we also use Queen of the Forest, so that means we get more evasion, also more movement speed. I mean, I think you slowly get it, right? We want movement speed. And, well, this is like the general thing, right? Then I have also a Watcher's Eye. I have a Watcher's Eye that gives me phasing while affected by haste and increased movement speed. Well, movement speed is obvious, right? We covered that already. The thing is, with phasing while affected by haste, we don't really need it for maps, but it is really good for Delph though, because sometimes we have to run like city nodes that are like a really long way, and sometimes I just run it with this character because you don't have to kill any monsters there, you just have to click on something. And because of that, we want to have permanent phasing up, so we can always run through the monsters. So this is really good if you also want sometimes to click some nodes with this character. And I can just recommend it because I do it sometimes myself, and yeah. Other than this, we also have the agnostic. The reason for this is this belt. Well, this is now a bit more complicated. It says basically chill effect and freeze duration on you are based on 100% of your energy shield. So no energy shield, better. And also on top of that, we also go on some reduced reservation of skills because we want to run haste and hatred, haste and grace. So we need some to run both hours, right? But yeah, so now let's go to the special mechanic, which I actually already teased a little bit. We want to chill ourselves. The reason why we want to chill ourselves is basically this here. The effect of chill on you is reversed. That means if I chill myself normally, if I'm chilled, I get slowed. Because it is reserved, I get faster. So we want to chill ourselves just to get even more movement speed. It also gives you attack speed and stuff like that. We don't really care about that part, but yeah, this is this. And then also something, also why this watcher eye is really good, because we have permanent phasing, is this gives us increased movement speed while phasing. This is also actually good for mass. I was not even thinking about that. Just mentioned it right now, so I'm actually smart without knowing it. So we have this 15% movement speed from this all the time. So now let's talk about the helmet and the shield, because this is the way how we chill ourselves. This helmet makes basically that we damage ourselves. So whenever we spend mana, basically phase run, we can see we are chilled. Why are we chilled? Because, well, the helmet is basically making fist damage to us. Fist damage is not cold damage, so it's not chilling us if we get cold damage. But we have this shield, and this shield says 7% of physical damage from hits taken as cold damage. So that means whenever we get physical damage, we also take a small amount of cold damage. If this is over the threshold that we need to get chilled, like if you get hit by so many percent of your life and whatever, you can get chilled. That means basically whenever we use phase run, we basically get cold damage, we basically get chilled. Then this ring is coming into effect because we chill ourselves, and then because of the belt, it even takes longer that we are self-chill. So we get this movement speed basically permanently. We are always self-chilled, and well, I mean, I don't really have to explain it. Movement speed is better. And then, well, the boots are quite simple. Increase movement speed, you get it. And then for the gloves and for the ring, we have rare gloves and a rare ring. The reason for this is simply I want to have maximum resistances. And this is also really easy because sometimes we get hit, we are not like unhittable, like they can hit us. Sometimes they are fast enough. And if we have max resistances, some life, we're not gonna be one shot, so normally we don't really care. I nearly never die in a map. Sometimes I do. This is why we have a custom death portal setup, the best in game. Not so good for HC though, but for software it's really insanely good. And well, the amulet also gives us, guess what, movement speed. And then because we actually begun about GAMP setups, so this is one setup. The other setup that we have is life tap, cyclone, cast while channeling, and a portal gem. So that means if we are done with the map, we can just cyclone real quick and we can place our portal ourselves. Well, haste and grace should be really simple, right? Smoke mine, it gives us some movement speed, but smoke mine is not so good anymore. I use it mainly for shore and ashenwood. Sometimes I want to jump over a wall, and while also with increased duration, just to hold the buff longer when I use it. I actually also use it at the start of the map, but it's not making such a big difference. But as you see, we have enough of sockets free, so we can just do that. We also have a lot of sockets free, so if you have like any GAM setup that you really want to put in, or like any ideas, just do it. We have the space for it. Also, if you find something insanely good or whatever, feel free to put it in the comment section below. I guess a lot of people will be happy to hear even the method how you can even min-max more. And then the last setup in our chest is basically increased duration, efficiency, and phase run. This socket is free. I wanted to get an enhance in it, but I was too lazy to buy one. And the reason why efficiency is also increased the skill effect duration. I get asked a lot why I have efficiency sometimes with like certain movement skills like phase run. Like a lot of people don't know it. It just also gives us skill effect duration, so we just have it longer, and the longer we have it, the better, right? And yeah, that's about it. Then we have the flask setup. The flask setup is really simple. Quicksilver for, guess what, movement speed. And then I have a jade flask. This jade flask is really good. It has increased duration and increased evasion rating. Increased evasion rating is really simple because we want to have more evasion, because then we get more movement speed from Queen of the Forest. And we have the Stibnite Flask, because it also gives us more evasion rating, which results into, yep, more movement speed. And for the flask, I have an Enduring Eternal Mana Flask. It is not really needed to be on an Eternal Mana Flask, I just had it. It can be on a lot of mana flasks, because we really don't have a lot of mana, and these flasks are just gonna be insane, so it just makes sure that we always have mana. And then on the life flask, I have an Instant Recovery Flask. I could actually add anti-bleeding on it. Sometimes we get puncture, and puncture is not really good, because we just run fast, and the faster you run with puncture on you, well, it's not really good. Okay, so that was pretty much everything. Just one thing I was not talking about is our lab skill tree, our Escadency. So we are Raider just because it is really fast, and the self shield and stuff like that is making it even more insane. You could go on Pathfinder, but then like the whole skill, like the whole gear will change a little bit. But Raider self shield is the best at the moment. Also, lab runners are even running with the same skill. So if you want, you can even make the character into a lab runner by just adding a damage skill and changing a bit the skill tree, but that's another topic. We may be gonna make a video about this as well, in case someone is interested into that. But yeah, so we wanna have Onslaught, we wanna have increased effect of Onslaught, and we wanna have also the dodge attacks, dodge spells and whatever. So yeah, I mean, it is really simple again, right? The chance to dodge is just that we don't get hit. Onslaught, well, movement speed. We don't need any of the other nodes, so you don't need to have the last lap, you don't need to do Uber lap. That's also saving you a lot of time. And yeah, well, that's it about the character now as well. So this was how we can get the most sulfite. I hope it helped you out. Well, I just gonna make some advertisement for myself right now. At the moment, over my stream, we're gonna run a headset giveaway sponsored by Crosshair, or basically a headset from Crosshair. And so for everyone that wanna take a chance to win it as well, feel free to join the stream. Although you see me delving all night long, so if you have any questions or something like that about it, just feel free to ask it there. Also about other stuff, I always take my time to like help you guys out as much as I can. And well, other than this, I hope this guide was helping you out. We're gonna do more guides in the future, and I want to continuously pumping out guides now for Path of Exile. And yeah, if you have any guides you want to know about, just feel free to ask. Yesterday we had someone in the stream that was asking about group farming, because that's also something I do a lot. So we're gonna also make other guides, just not only delving. And yeah, see you guys. Bye bye.